if you didn't catch, we were discussing the numbers as far as parents getting into fights, parents being abusive towards officials, coaches, each other at youth sporting events is on the uptick. And we do have a brawl. It's on 97ontheticket.com, video of it.
Oh, you have to watch it. Now, we're gonna pause the show for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
While you can go to the Twitter and look up the 97 Won the Ticket video and watch it, because you have to watch it
we'll just sit here in
before you
silence.
discuss. So we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
All right, thanks. 97 Won the Tickets. You think they're done yet?
Did you see it?
I watched it.
Okay,
yeah.
okay, good.
Good.
Everybody did.
The phone number is 248-539-9797. Ticket text is at 97136. Just wondering why this appears to be a major issue. I think parents are they're looking for anybody to blame except for their kid. Like, I have a family member who's a teacher, and there was a fight on a playground, and they actually have, video surveillance, like, security footage, and they had to sit the parent down and try to, explain what happened, but they had to go to the security footage to prove that their child was actually at fault. This parent apparently didn't believe it to that extent. Like, I think parents, they don't want to blame their kids. They want to make sure that they're trying to find an excuse for everything that goes on. And, as Sully and I were talking about too, have you ever actually seen, one of these instances, a brawl, parents getting into a fist fight at a youth sporting event?
Darn it, I haven't.
I have never seen it. I've seen parents swear and get angry and pissed off. I mean, there's always one kid that has a way too intense parent on their team that's coaching them from the sideline, but nothing to this extent. Phone number 248-539-9797. Ticket text is at 97136. Let's go to Elliot on a cell. You're on 97 on the ticket. Hey, Elliot.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, Elliot.
Hey, I'd like to start off by saying I was not very good at basketball. But
you and me both.
I was the tallest kid on the team, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and there was a fight at one of our games with the parents. And I was the kid who couldn't shoot but could play defense and block everybody. And I kept blocking this one kid over and over again. He was just smaller than me. It was ridiculous. And eventually, after I blocked him the 4th or 5th time, he took the ball, wound up, and threw it like a baseball at my face. And my nose immediately just bust open, blood everywhere. And I was a kid, so, I was on the ground. And his dad, the kid who threw it at me, started cheering, saying, "That's what you got to do. Take him out." And no one else was upset, but another kid on my team, his dad, who had an anger issue, got up and immediately went after the kid to pull him off me. And the kid's like, 5th, 6th grade. This is a little kid. And the other kid's dad and him both got into a fight, and they got kicked out, and they both reeked of alcohol. So I think alcohol has a little bit to do with it sometimes.
Elliot, to be fair, how else do you get through a youth sporting event? I mean, my goodness.
That's actually true.
Yeah, it's like 20 to 20, the points after an hour. It's ridiculous. But to me, the reason why I think that right now you see it more often just because of the internet, honestly, because that would have been on YouTube that night. That it would have been on the internet immediately, and it would have just been another incident. But that was the only one I witnessed.
I mean, we definitely see things more so than we used to, just because that's the way of the world. But I still think that it is a much bigger issue now.
It seems to be.
Than it was.
And alcohol, yes, of course, that's
you can't buy alcohol at these youth sporting events.
No, people bring coolers.
Yeah, you put it in one of those.
No, they do. They bring coolers.
Put it in one of those Yetis. It keeps it cold.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever done that.
No, me neither.
Can people do anything without alcohol nowadays? Anything?
But some of these games are like at 9 a.m., so you wouldn't think. But this is what it is larger. I'm sticking by.
That makes it even worse. 9 a.m. I
know.
I'm sure it's painful to watch some of these youth sporting events. They got to find a way to get through it.
Right. Yeah. Here, this is my theory. Money, major factor, according to this ticket texter. These fights have happened since the beginning of youth sports. Frickin' Tennessee, that's where the softball fight is. Never would have known it if not for social media. And I love when people without kids always say, "I would never let my kid do that. My kid's not going to do this and that." You people have no idea. You have no idea that your kid will not do that.
Let me say this, though. The closest I've ever seen to an actual fight, back when I grew up in Waterford, Our Lady of the Lakes, and saw all the crazy Catholic League parents there. But there was one time, it was a Saturday morning practice. We had a Saturday morning basketball practice. and there was a dad who was basically sitting in the bleachers just watching practice. You know how dads are on Saturday morning. You got the paper, the coffee, watching practice, whatever.
Yeah.
So long story short, the coach thought that he had made a comment and was somehow criticizing practice. These two basically went back and forth, kind of took their glasses off and got in each other's faces.
Oh my God.
Before, and I'm not going to say his name, obviously, before this dad of one of the kids in my grade finally left the gym. But I saw those two basically get eye to eye as if it was a boxing weigh-in.
Oh my
And they
God.
were close to fighting. They didn't fight, and then he left. But I've never, again, as we've talked about, Kyle, with the reports coming out now, and Wojo, you were mentioning the softball fight, I've never seen two parents actually drop fists.
Actually fight.
Get into it. No.
I think for it to go from that stage to actually fighting, I really do think.
Is that rare, you think?
Yes, and I think 90% of the time it is alcohol related. I do.
But see,
it has to
but
be.
see, here's the thing,
on.
though. Wojo, I don't think that, as we talked about with the other study, I don't think that it's uncommon for parents to get thrown out of games nowadays, for parents to be more vocal than they've ever been.
I agree with that.
But I would be stunned if it's some sort of common thing to have parents brawling at games.
And I do think
We
officials,
see the headlines, but that can't be common.
Yeah.
But I do think officials, as that study shows, are quicker to toss parents out, and they should be quicker, because verbal abuse is what leads to physical confrontation.
Especially when it's a 15, 16-year-old umpire.
Oh, it's ridiculous. That's why they have a shortage of referees and umpires, because nobody wants to do it, because parents are so unbelievably brutal, especially in a sport like baseball or softball, where balls and strikes, it's very subjective. Like, we see it on the major league, level, obviously, because it matters a ton. There's millions of dollars on the line. But at the youth level, a young kid as an umpire, trying to make the calls.
I have the answer. I have the answer. Robot umpires in Little League. Come on, let's get them in there. They got the technology.
It'd be affordable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. Let's go to Greg, Shelby Township. You're at 97.1 The Ticket. Hey, Greg.
Hey, guys.
Hello, Gregory.
Hey, the worst one. I was a high school coach. I coached wrestling, right? And youth wrestling is probably one of the worst I've ever seen.
Why?
Okay, the parents from youth wrestling, I guess because it's their kid and they're out on the mat, and parents can't see their kid getting beat, or it's like getting beat up. Well, one time, this is actually in a high school match, my kid was up on the kid by about 13 points, and me and the other coach, we looked and we took our head off the mats for like not even 5 seconds. A parent ran out of the stand, ran to the middle of the mat, punched our wrestler square in the face, because he was, his son was getting,
Whipped.
Yeah, getting whipped. And the whole gym went after the guy. I've never seen nothing like it to this day. But I've seen many, many fights at the youth level in wrestling.
In wrestling, you know what? I could see why wrestling, because that is so personal. Your boy against that boy,
One-on-one.
and it's physical, and it probably, when you're really up by a lot of points, it probably can get humiliating even. You know what I mean? Is they're going to pin him or whatever. So I'm not excusing it, but I could see why wrestling parents would be a little bit crazier.
I just don't understand. Like, what's going on. Like, what are football parents supposed to, if your kid gets drilled, as a wide receiver coming over the middle by a safety, are you supposed to run out there and kick the crap out of that safety?
Sure.
I mean, that's part of the reason you
listen,
play
I agree with
sports.
you,
Like,
but understand, you're watching your little Johnny being mauled nonstop by the other kid for like 3 minutes straight. That doesn't happen in a football game,
honestly,
right?
wouldn't it be humbling? Don't you want your kid to get his ass kicked sometimes? Like, kids are growing up, a little bit arrogant.
Back in the day, we did.
A little bit self-absorbed these days. Isn't it a good thing, a humbling thing for a kid to get whacked once in a while? Not by a parent, but by somebody they're playing?
So you're saying the problem is the millennials? I think that's what you're sort of saying.
I think millennial parents, are the problems.
They're raising you millennials.
No. I grew up different, okay? My parents, they didn't let me off the hook for anything. If I did something wrong, it was my fault and no one else's. Parents today, it's everyone else's fault. There's an excuse for everything. It's ridiculous.
I think it's because of the money.
Okay. 248-539-9797.
That's the second time you were patronizing to me today. Okay.
Only once an hour.
Unbelievable.
Once an hour. Is that okay?
I guess.
Come on, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to have fun here.
patronizing.
Unless you want to drop the gloves and get into a fight like these parents.
And Sully will come rushing in here and punch one of us in the nose.
2 local radio hosts got into a fist fight the other day.
That actually does happen in the various businesses as well.
Yeah, it certainly could. 97.1.